Hi Bears, this is Mrs. Udo. Today I'm going to be talking about how to create an annotated bibliography with using MLA citation format style. The contents within this lesson are you will learn why and when we should cite our sources. I'll talk about what an annotated bibliography is. We'll discuss a few of the core elements of an MLA citation, and then we'll discuss parts of an annotation and how to get started with those different parts. First, I think it's important to discuss why students should be citing sources within research. Primarily in an academic institution, the number one thing is to avoid plagiarism. We want students to show that they have received their information from credible, reliable sources. We assume that the things you're learning within an academic institution aren't necessarily common knowledge, and so we want to know which work you're submitting is your own versus gathered from someone else. And then secondly, to avoid any copyright infringement. This happens a lot with digital images and videos that are posted online now. So anytime that you're borrowing an image or information, please make sure that you are citing your sources. It's important to know when you should be citing your sources. Whenever you are using another person's idea, opinion, or theory within your own research, if you are citing someone's words, either their spoken or written speech, you need to cite those quotations. If you are paraphrasing another person's spoken or written words, you should also be citing that information. And then lastly, if you are implementing statistics, facts, graphs, charts, or drawings within your research, you should also be citing those sources. Within your research, remember to always give credit to things that are not common knowledge. It's always best to err on the side of citing a little too much than not giving credit when it's due often enough. So the bulk of this lesson is going to be focused on what an annotated bibliography is and how to create it. So you should know that an annotated bibliography is a list of cited sources about a particular topic, in which each citation is followed by a brief annotation or a discussion of the source. An annotated bibliography is useful for documenting your research in a specific area, exploring varying viewpoints, and summarizing main points from different sources. There are two parts to every entry within an annotated bibliography. First, the researcher needs to provide the citation, which is bibliographic information about the source. And then the second part is the annotation itself. So for the first part of our discussion, we'll be focusing on the citation. The core elements that you should provide for every source within your research are details such as the author, the title of your source, the title of a container, which means like the title of the magazine or the title of the website. Other authors are contributors, sometimes editors, the version you're accessing, the number, which could be the volume, especially when it comes to books and encyclopedias, who the publisher is, the date of publication, as well as where it's located, either the publisher is located or even in the case of digital resources, the URL, or just the fact that the information was received online. Again, we're going back to the two parts for every entry, so now we'll be focusing on the annotation component. The annotation of a source includes a summary of the source, an evaluation of the text, and a reflection on its applicability to your own research. So what this could look like is here. So we have the elements listed as the summary, evaluation, and reflection. The questions that are listed underneath each heading give students a way to answer or provide what is being asked for. So when you're thinking about a summary, ask yourself, what are the main arguments? What is the point of this book or article? What topics are covered? If someone asked what the article or book is about, what would you say? Usually, a summary is anywhere from 3 to 5 sentences, depending on what your teacher is asking for. You should always be aware of their own individual requirements for the assignment. The evaluation component of an annotation can be fulfilled by asking yourself, is this a useful source? How does it compare with other sources in your bibliography? Is the information reliable? Is the source biased or objective? And what is the goal of this overall source? And then lastly is your reflection. Ask yourself these questions. Was this source helpful to you? How does it help you shape your argument? How can you use this source in your research project? And has it changed how you think about your topic? In addition to the core elements of an annotation, I want to give you some tips on how to get going within the annotation. And so I'd like you to keep in mind some guiding principles that you should implement when writing these up. So always keep in mind the purpose. We need students to be able to justify the usefulness and quality of the source that you've used in your research. Never ever use personal pronouns within your annotation. Keep it academic. It shouldn't be about you in your opinion, so not a lot of I's, me's, or my's. And then one easy way to get going within this annotation is to begin by identifying the type of the source. So with phrases like this website or this book, this article. Now I'm going to help provide some sentence starters for you that could be helpful in the creation of the different elements of your annotation. So rather than me reading these aloud to you, I'm just going to be asking you to take a minute and read the sentence starters or phrases that fall under each heading. In addition to viewing this screen, you will be given a handout that can help remind you for what some of these things are. If you ever need help or want some examples, there are a variety of places that you can refer to receive answers to your questions. The first place that I'd like to encourage you to visit frequently is the OHS Library Schoology group. We have pre-populated all of you into the library group within Schoology. If for some reason you don't find the library group within your Schoology account, you can simply join the group by adding in the code listed here, which is K49FM-93D7T, and you'll be dropped right into the group for full access. Within the Schoology group, you'll find MLA and APA citation style guides, as well as commonly used types of citations, in addition to any handouts and worksheets that can help you to create the annotated bibliographies. Another online resource that is helpful is a site found at Purdue. It's called the Purdue OWL, and OWL stands for Online Writing Lab. This is by far one of the best resources for all style types of formatting. Definitely go here if you have an unusual type of source that you need help citing. They likely have examples for you, and they can be found at owl.purdue.edu. And then lastly, this is a tool that some of you may be familiar with. It is called Noodle Tools. Noodle Tools is a helpful research-based tool in general. So here you can organize your notes, you can write your paper, and most importantly, use their helper guide to create citations in a variety of formats. If you want to access Noodle Tools, all Olympia School District students have this access through our OSD portal. So you just need to get to the home page of the portal and then look to the right sidebar for the tools that are listed there, and you'll find Noodle Tools. Lastly, I want to leave you with a couple did you knows. So, first and foremost, I, Mrs. Udo, am available anytime to help you with your research needs. Please feel free to send me an email at sudo@osd.wednet.edu. I would be more than happy to help guide you in the right direction or even read over some of your papers to give you some tips. Secondly, the OHS library has social media accounts that might be worth following. We can be found on Facebook and Instagram at oli.hs.library. And then I have been using my school YouTube page to post a lot of tutorials and lessons that you might find helpful. So you can just search for Stacy Udo on YouTube to find that. And then lastly, remember that anybody can check out books for curbside pickup. Even though we're in full distance, we'd be happy to get books into your hands. You just need to find us through the library's website or Schoology, which is linked to our library catalog, and you can place as many holds as you'd like. As soon as we process those holds, we will notify you that your books are ready for pickup.